You know, I'm surprisingly numb to the feeling and the borderline realization that this horrible season is pretty much over. I didn't think I would be, but I am. And what I saw Sunday was a great performance from Rodgers offensively and from Jones offensively. However, it also saw Rodgers get banged up worse and Jordan Love had to come in. What I also saw was the absolute worst display of defense I've ever seen in my life. And keep in mind now, before last year, I'd watched the Packers defense get bad and bad and bad every year. But even those defenses weren't as horrid as what I saw Sunday. 363 rushing yards. That's what we gave up. We've never really had a good running defense, but even our bad defenses give up less than that. Now I know Jalen Hurts is good. I said the only thing I hate about Jalen Hurts is I don't have him on fantasy. Jalen Hurts is good, but what he did on us was just ridiculous. And Miles Sanders, I do have him on fantasy, and the first thing I thought was, oh great, now they decide to use him. Because when I've needed points from him to win, I hardly see him with the ball. And I literally have to beg, please, hand off the ball to Sanders. I actually lost by a few points on Monday night because Sanders hardly touched the ball, and Hurts was stealing touchdowns from him. But Sanders, oh boy. It was the Miles Sanders show. It was ridiculous. Even worse, in one matchup I was playing against him, and that's when he really showed out. And I actually lost that matchup. Oh well. That's fantasy football. In the real league, Packers are pretty much finished. So, the conversation, of course, is, does Jordan Love take over? And I would think he would take over next week. After all, we're playing the Bears. What harm could it do? Thing is, the man wearing this jersey says he wants to go. And Matt LaFleur says, the sentiment with LaFleur and pretty much the team is, as long as Rodgers has a pulse and is semi-healthy, he's starting. And that's the type of guy Rodgers is. He's not going to let a little thing like bad ribs and a bad thumb keep him from the field. And a lot of quarterbacks should be that tough, but the guy's going to be 39 this week. He's too old to go out there playing with bad ribs. People say, well, Justin Herbert's playing with bad ribs. He's a decade younger than Rodgers. The kid can handle it. He's not old and rickety. He's young and spry. Rodgers is an old geezer, a great old geezer, but an old geezer. It's pretty much time to kind of unleash Jordan. Now, I originally said until we're officially eliminated, but we're not officially eliminated, but it's only by a hair. We can't get eliminated this week. We can get eliminated for the division race, but we can't get eliminated this week. Though next week's another story. So it was a tough loss, 40-33, and even if we got the old bad defense from 2011 to 2020, we win that game. But so the NFC South is a mess. It's a big mess. But I'm enjoying it. I love train wreck divisions. And it's really surprising because this is a division with Brady in it. And it's bad. And, Tampa Bay's loss to Cleveland means every team in the NFC South is under 500. Tampa Bay is the best of the worst at 5-6. Atlanta's 5-7. Carolina and New Orleans are 4-8 each. Yes, Carolina, who was supposed to be tanking, could end up in the playoffs as the South Division champions and have a game in Charlotte. That's going to piss the Paris off. because we've all heard it. It all started with the Seahawks back in 2010, and we've had a share of bad division winners. Some mediocre, some with losing records, and we've all heard the rhetoric: losing teams shouldn't be at home in the playoffs. Losing teams should make it anyway. And of course, my favorite one is the whole division should be eliminated. That's what they say. They see a bad division, they say the whole division should be eliminated. They said it 2 years ago with the NFC East when everybody was putrid, and I've read tweets about it, the whole division should be eliminated. A joke I once read about the state of NFC South said their playoff spot should be given to the best SEC team that didn't make the CFP. Oh my God! But they need to get off that because first place is first place, whether it's 5-6 or 10-1, which is what the Eagles' record is. So it's pretty crazy, and Steelers won Monday Night Football. We saw some 2-point conversions that were successful, and from Jacksonville and the Chargers, and they end up winning games late, and of course the Raiders. If you have Josh Jacobs on fantasy, as I do, then you are blessed. You are blessed. Josh Jacobs saved one of my fantasy matchups because I would have needed a lot from Aaron Rodgers had he not scored that long touchdown. I think after he ran that 86 yards, that's 14.6 points right there. An 86-yard touchdown run. After he scored that touchdown, I only needed Rodgers to get about 5 fantasy points. He ended up with over 11, so that was enough for me to win one matchup. But yeah, Josh Jacobs, ooh boy, he's a beast. He's kind of like, he's really the best thing going on that bad Raiders team. And I know Devontae Adams is on that team, but Jacobs is kind of the best thing going on that Raiders team that is just disappointed. But yeah, and speaking of disappointed, of course, Denver keeps disappointing because they're below the Raiders. Isn't that sad? There's going to be some coaches fired on Black Monday, but that's a month from now, or over a month from now. January 9th, that's Black Monday because that's the first day after the regular season ends. Heads are going to roll. It's going to be crazy, but yeah. So of course, the week started with the Thanksgiving games. Bills survived against Detroit, and Minnesota beat New England, and it had a what is a catch moment, what is a touchdown moment. Poor Hunter Henry. I think it was Hunter Henry. That was a touchdown. He caught that ball. That was across the line. That's a touchdown. But these 8 over 10 of rules are just crazy. But of course, the heart of that Thanksgiving lineup was Cowboys-Giants. Big ratings grabber. 42 million people watched that game on Thanksgiving. And of course, I think, of course, in the East Coast, they watched it while they were dining, while they had their Thanksgiving dinner, because that game started at I think about 4:30 in the East Coast, which meant halftime would be about like 6, and the second half would be about like 6:37. So I'm pretty sure while people were having their Thanksgiving dinner, they were watching that game. Of course, out here in the West Coast, that's at 1:30. The game started at 1:30 Eastern. But yeah, and that was the game I was looking forward to because NFC East football is great. The NFC East, like I said, the NFC East has been something. Every team is over 500, and even the Washington Commanders are in last place. They're 2 games over 500. They have 7 wins. That's the exact same number of wins they had when they won the division 2 years ago. What a difference 2 years makes. It went from shit to sugar, just like that. But yeah, so yeah, it should be very interesting. That whole division could make the playoffs. As a matter of fact, if the season ended right now, everybody in the East would be in the playoffs. Everybody, because I think Dallas, the Giants, and the Commanders have the wild card spots in the NFC. Have the wild card positions in the NFC, I should say. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting because we are now entering the final 1/3 of the season. Remember, 18-week season, 12 weeks are gone. We're 2/3 done. There's 6 weeks to go. The season enters the month of December. It's going to be very, very delicious and fruitful. And it gets started with Bills and Patriots on Thursday Night Football. Amazon Video is back to work because of course, this past Thursday was Thanksgiving. It was CBS, Fox, and NBC with the games on. Like I said, the Packers play the Bears. This guy wants in. I kind of think it should be Love because we're playing the Bears. It's not like we're playing an NFL team. Philly at 10-1, they're hosting Tennessee, who's still in first place. Pittsburgh, fresh off their Monday night win, they're going to Atlanta to face the Falcons. The Buccaneers are who are the Buccaneers playing? Oh yeah, Buccaneers are playing Monday Night Football on against the Saints. The Panthers actually have a bye. The Panthers actually have a bye this week. They're one of two teams that have a bye. The other team is the Cardinals, who were also screwed. The Sunday night game, I mentioned the Monday night game before, but I mentioned the Sunday night game. The Sunday night game is Cowboys and Colts, so that should be good. So that's what's to look forward to on week 13. That is my recap of week number 12. It was pretty amazing, especially from a fantasy standpoint. If you like this video, click the like button, click subscribe if you want more. My story recapping week 12 and my story about the state of the NFC South. Both of them will be in the description below. Check them out when you can, especially the NFC South story, because I break that down bit by bit, team by team. And I'll be back very quickly because it's clinching scenario time, and I want to get football fans ready for this home stretch and teams punching playoff spots, and spots can be clinched in week 13. So I'll describe those in a separate video. So stay tuned.